Welcome to City Hall. I'm Paul Lester, News Director for WDLC and WTSX Radio here in Port Jervis. Our subject tonight is what you're watching right now, the local access channel, Channel 8. With me tonight on my right is Pat Westfall, Chairman of the Access Advisory Group, and on my left, Steve Butler, Director of Public Relations. Pat, let's start with you. You're the Chairman. You were with the station when you really went on air last fall with our Meet the Candidates debates. How are things going?
Pretty well. We're progressing pretty well. We started with the debates, then had the Common Council meetings starting in early November. We've gone into the school board meetings. We have sporting events from the school. We have school plays that we've done. We're trying to expand on that community-involved programming, and it's been going along real well. We hope to evolve into further programming and more programming on the air as time progresses.
Steve, where are we going from here? What do things look like for the future?
Well, I think things look very, very good for the future. We're trying right now to broaden our base a little bit by having more production crews to cover more events for the viewing public. We have about 15 people that presently are running through a course, a certification course on operation of the video equipment and also on operation of the production control room equipment. And we're hoping once these people are certified that we can have more production crews and consequently get out and cover a lot more events so that we can get into some regularly scheduled programming.
I believe you are going to offer the training sessions 3 more times this year.
Yes, and those sessions are conducted by Cablevision Industries, and I'd just like to mention to the viewing public that keep us tuned to Access 8. We'll be announcing the dates of those courses sometime in the future.
Pat, what kind of people are you looking for to get involved in the Access Channel?
Anybody who would like to. It's the community station, it's public access, the senior citizens, the community groups, the Lions Club, the Elks Club, clubs like that to come in and put on productions.
Okay, I'm looking more specifically at, let's say, the kind of people that might want to be interested in taking the course. Any special prerequisites required for them?
16 years old or over and live in Port Jervis or Deer Park. They can come down here at City Hall where the courses will be offered and take the course.
Might be a good opportunity for students also, sounds like, with that age group.
Right, you know, to learn video equipment, putting on productions. It would be a real good experience.
We fully realize, Paul, that for us to grow and for us to fulfill the goals and dreams that we have right now and in our vitiate, that a lot more people are going to have to get involved, and we hope those future sessions are busy. And as Pat said, the only criteria are that you're 16 years of age or older and live or work in the city of Port Jervis and the town of Deer Park.
Pat, you were mentioning also the kind of people that you'd like to come in and see do some programming. Right now, it's been pretty much, as you said, the official functions in town, the Common Council meetings, a few school-related activities, including athletic events. What about the individual organizations, like
Right.
the senior citizens? How do they go about getting something on the air?
They would come down here to take the training courses, get certified, and they can put on their own production, and if it meets good quality standards and a show, we'll put it on the air to support themselves in the community, getting their word out to the public. Having one of our already crew members do it for them, if they would like that, if we can set that up and help them in the community.
Any general parameters pertaining to the kind of programming that goes on the air? Are there any sort of guidelines as to acceptability or unacceptability?
Well, of course, we have to abide by the FCC regulations, and we haven't put any regulations of what kind of programming we want on the air, just that it's good quality, and we'll be able to show that on the air and not be embarrassed by what's on it.
How are the decisions made? A group comes to you, maybe they have a program already or have an idea for a program. Is there some kind of screening process? Steve, what about that?
Well, I think initially, yes, we're establishing ourselves now as a not-for-profit corporation. And obviously, to do that, we've had to set up a governing body, if you will, and included in those governing bodies is a review board. And part of the function of what they will do, along with the scheduling and programming arms of the channel, is to review materials that are submitted for possible airing, just to make sure they follow the parameters that Pat just mentioned, that they don't step on the toes of the FCC guidelines that we have to operate under. And as long as it's of interest to the community and it's acceptable to the review board and the production and scheduling group here at the station, we'll plug it in and air it.
Is this review board part of the Access Advisory Group? Is it drawn from the membership, or is this?
Yes, it is. Very quickly, organizationally, we're made up of 30 people who have all been appointed either by the mayor of Port Jervis or by the supervisor of the town of Deer Park. Of that 30, we have a governing board, if you will, which includes the officers and committee members. Various committees include my committee, which would be public relations. We have a programming committee, scheduling committee as well. We have a fundraising committee, et cetera.
I might note that the Access Advisory Group seems to have quite a wide range of representation. You, I believe, do have a few students on up to and including representatives from the various community groups and organizations already.
Right, we have 2 people who are in high school, someone represented from the hospital, myself, a college student, Steve here, a businessman, Will, a hobby, who's an entertainer. It's really broad-based people, young and old.
A lot of activity is being focused here lately on the schools because of what's become well publicized, the project team, which is sort of getting off the ground. They had a big weekend in Pauling earlier this year, and a lot of activities being planned within the schools. Some of them aimed directly at getting the media involved and focusing attention on the schools. I would assume you see some great opportunities there for focusing on a very important segment of this community.
Right, I believe one of the teams have a project coming up in February with the media. We'll be there to cover that and get involved in that community services that we can bring out to the public with the 3 medias involved in Port Jervis.
Well, that's a good point. I think we're all sort of in this together. And do you really see yourselves as, in any sense, competing with the other media in the city? We have the radio station, of course, and the newspaper. Or what is your role as vis-a-vis the other 2 media in the town?
Well, obviously, the #1 reason for competition would be money and advertising, and we can't advertise on this station, the Access Channel, so I don't see us competing in that way. We just bring events to the people. We're not in competition for anything. We just like to work together like we have been and have a nice working relationship with the paper and WDLC.
We'd like to be as popular in television as you folks are in radio, and we think we'd have it covered and put on a series of good programs.
How do you think speaking of the popularity, how do you think your viewer audience has been? There were a lot of publicity, of course, when you went on the air. A lot of people were watching. Do you think some of that was sort of curiosity or novelty, or do you think you're holding your audience?
Well, I think initially it probably was curiosity and novelty, but I think we have a lot of loyal fans who tune into us as often as we're airing. If I can mention for a second, we've had some real good press, if you will, from the print media. You folks have helped us in announcing our training sessions that we're running on Tuesday evenings. There was a small, unofficial Nielsen rating that was done about a week ago by the Times Herald Record, one of the reporters in the Times Herald Record, who basically just called around to find out what the viewing audience was like and how frequently people were tuning in. And to our surprise, of the 30 people that she had contacted, I think 25 of them had watched us at one time or another, and over 20 were regular viewers of at least the regularly scheduled meetings that we're airing now. For example, the Common Council meeting that we aired this evening.
And that would include also the school board and the Deer Park town board. These are the only 3, I think, official meetings that you are actually doing at this point.
Right. The Deer Park meeting, that's the Common Council meetings in Port Jervis, and the school board meetings. Those are the only official ones we are doing.
Do you think you're having any kind of an impact on, let's say, the officials that are the key players or the cast in these little mini dramas you're running?
I think we're having a definite impact.
Other than being a little bit more sartorially perfect when they show up for these meetings, coats and ties on everybody now. Anybody playing to the camera, do you think, because of the bright lights and the TV?
Well, obviously, I think our viewers would be in a much better position to comment on that. As one of the cameramen who showed the council meeting, I'd have to say that it has impacted, I think, not only on the attitudes of some of the council people, because they realize that the constituency is viewing them, and I think it's actually going to add a dimension to the council meetings, since they are being aired to so many people, that ultimately will not only help the council become a better governing body for the city of Port Jervis, but also become a better avenue to inform the electorate as to what's going on.
Yes, and since we began on October 26th, the first council meeting that we broadcast here, the council people didn't know where the camera was. Now they all know where the camera was, and they'll turn around when they're speaking and look into it. They know where the camera
Interesting
is.
point, because there have been some, a good deal of debate, and let's say in the past 5 or 6 years that I've been involved with, over whether the presence of the electronic media at a meeting can in fact impede the free flow of ideas at a meeting. Some people say it might be a bit of a restraint on the average citizen who comes in and might have a little bit of a fear of that. I get the impression, it's your observation, that that clearly has not happened.
To date, it
No.
hasn't. We
No,
haven't
Pete,
noticed it.
when people have a gripe with the city, they come down, show up at the meeting, and they'll get up and say their piece, and it doesn't matter if the camera's there or not. And I don't think the council has done that, played to the camera solely for themselves.
Okay. Steve, you were mentioning earlier about going to nonprofit corporation status. What will this mean for the access channel? How will that help you out?
Well, I think initially the biggest thing that it'll do for us is to allow us to accept donations and sponsorship from various clubs, businesses, individuals, organizations, etc., that are around the area, so that we can begin to build up some kinds of funding that would allow us to air more things out to the people. Presently, we have some situations that we'd like to remedy a little bit. We have a single camera right now. One is out for repair, and the exact arrival date back here at the station is still a little bit in question, and that certainly limits our ability to cover multiple events on a single evening. And we feel that by actually broadening our scope, by getting involved, by getting more people involved vis-a-vis funding, I think we'll be able to become a lot more flexible, because we'll not only have more equipment, but hopefully the success of these training courses will give us more production crews, and that combination should ultimately give us more programming.
We might note about the equipment that I believe all of the equipment is donated. Pat, maybe you can explain exactly where it came from.
Cablevision Industries, in conjunction with Port Jervis franchise agreement, they were supposed to provide an access channel in the studio and the basic equipment, and they are the sole sponsors of the equipment. We got that from them. They supplied it.
Should be noted that a good deal of effort went into those negotiations. I think Connie Navarre should be noted in that particular regard as the chairwoman of the Cable Commission, which I think is an entirely separate body from you people, isn't it, the Cable Commission?
Yes, it is. We were set up so the Cable Commission wouldn't have to be the governing body of the studio, so they could break away with it and just deal with things in the contract between Cablevision and the city of Port Jervis. We'll have to make reports to them monthly on how we are progressing and how we do it at their monthly meeting, but they have totally broken away from us.
I think they basically function as an overseer group, because the contract is basically, the contract for the access station here is between the city of Port Jervis and Cablevision, and I think the Cable Commission has been established to kind of oversee the actual operation of the station, make sure that everything is in compliance with that contract.
Okay. One final area I kind of want to touch on, and that's how you're kind of making your presence felt. A lot of people perhaps just don't know what the schedule is. They know when the council meetings are and assume you're going to broadcast them, but if you've got other programs that are coming up, how are the people going to find out about this?
Well, one thing we will be doing in the not-too-distant future is to be listing the stations that will be aired in the print media, specifically in the Tri-State Gazette. And I think that will be one way of informing the people out there on a regular basis exactly what will be available for the week. And as I said, that'll probably take a couple of weeks until programming ideas become a little more firm here at the station.
Yes, and where we can also put on the air when we will be coming on in little spots and segments when people are watching.
And finally, for those people who might be interested in the Access Channel, either to take the training courses or to come forward with their ideas on programming, what do they do? Who do they contact and how do they do it?
And they can contact the city clerk here at City Hall, Jim Hinckley. They can contact Frank Herman, our secretary, or they can contact myself or just come down while we're doing a common council meeting and look around what we're doing and talk to us then.
I'd like to mention also that they can stop in at the municipal board in the town of Deer Park and register up there as well, or discuss any questions they might have. And if the answers can't be gotten up there, we are available here at the station.
Okay, very good. Steve Butler, Director of Public Relations for the Access Channel, and Pat Westfall, Chairman of the Access Advisory Group. Thank you for speaking with me this evening. I'm Paul Lester, News Director at WDLC and WTSX, and thank all of you out there for watching.
Good evening.
Personnel office or whatever that might subscribe to the Wall Street listings could also, you know, for additional money subscribe to bed and breakfast listings. And if they had to relocate somebody to an area or send somebody on business or send somebody on a sales call, they could call it up and say, is there any bed and breakfast in Port Jervis? And it would show whoever in our group was, you know, the description of the home that we represented out here. And then they'd know to call us and we try to make the arrangements. And I think that's one of the exciting things that as an industry we're doing to bring us into the 80s or the 90s without losing any of the nice, unique, homey, you know, independentness of the individual bed and breakfast. That's what it's about.
Okay, you said you have 4-bedroom bed and breakfast, so now you have your fire escape or a second?
Well, see, I don't have to because my place has existed since before 1984. When they make laws, the laws cannot, you know, you are what it was called an unconditional grandfathered, whatever. They can't say everything that pre-existed now has to do this. So I'm very lucky in that respect that I do have 4 bedrooms. It doesn't mean that you can't have 4 bedrooms, but you do then either have to comply with the code, or it is possible to get a variance around some parts of the code. I mean, because your local boards have the power to grant variances. They can take an historic house where you can make a case that it would totally ruin the historic value of this house to have, that kind of a fire escape, and that all of your windows look out onto the wraparound porch ledge, and it would be very easy for anybody to get out. And in the face of that, a local board can say, we waive that part of the fire and safety code. Yes?
I may just correct you on that, only because I said it with respect.
Okay.
The state is the only one who can grant a variance to the fire and safety.
Oh, it's the state? Who do you go for before? I know that there are variances
The State Board of
granted.
Appeals, and I know this personally because I had to do it
Okay.
for our historic depot here in Port Jervis. And there was a state board review that was a regional review board that met in Newburgh. And we had to go there and apply to get this some certain parts of the building code that they, but it's a very difficult process, and they're not apt just to get to the
But it is doable. I mean, it's, if you
very,
really,
very difficult.
It is
I saw
difficult.
3 developers before me that they get turned down, things that were much simpler, much easier than my particular deal was. It's a very, very difficult process. But I just say that the only,
but there are variances. I mean,
Absolutely.
people have gotten it. That man that you saw with the place on the Erie Canal, he got variances against, I can't tell you how many different things. He doesn't have any of the things that I told you about. And they let him open, and they let him operate. So, I mean, you also, I mean, I can't tell you that, you know, I don't know what the situation is in your town. I don't know how stringently the laws are enforced or whatever. You know, you have to see.
well, with the state building code thing, where you have to go to the state for that one, but it's a local minor thing, and it's say the way it's height of door, or the door. That's one thing, whether it's handicap accessibility or fire separation or fire occupancy, all those things have to go to the state because of that.
Certain parts of it don't make sense to me. I mean, if you have, you know, a place that you could have 6 people, why should you have to be handicapped accessible? I mean, this is a private home. It still doesn't qualify as a commercial place, and I don't see the point.
I didn't either. I can't tell you the truth, when I was involved with it either. But
You know, I mean, at some point, I mean, I'd be more than happy if there were enough people who were in this position who wanted to do a legislative battle about this. At this moment, I don't have the backup to do it. You know, I think a very good case could be made that the fire and safety code should be, you know, should conform to the other state laws that says if you have less than 10 people, that you're not a commercial place, and the fire and safety code should go into effect when you have more than 10. But believe me, it's not a battle I'm about to fight by myself right now. So, I mean, I tell people that if you're having a problem with any of these things, you know, please call me. I'd be happy to testify. I'd be happy to help in any way that I can. And, you know, part of the trade association, what we hope to have in a few years is to build up some funds to help people deal with legislative issues that affect the whole industry. We don't have it yet. I will give a plug to a company called the Eldred Jobbing Corporation. They have an ad on the back of our bed and breakfast directory, and what they do is they offer unbelievably wonderful prices on sheets, towels, pillows, and all the great things that you need for your B&B, and they will donate 3% of anything you buy to the trade association for this fund. So we are trying to get some money available to help deal with things that really are crucial to the industry. And of course, we are also doing a position paper on bed and breakfast that will be available for anybody who needs to use it to deal with their legislators or their town boards or anything. But I will tell you that as far as Croton goes, they did put in a special permit and nobody has applied for it, but they are in favor right now of bed and breakfast as long as there is adequate off-street parking for it and that you conform to the fire and safety code. And they see from what's happened in my home that it's done nothing but positive things for the community. And in fact, my street is not loaded with bed and breakfast. There are no semis parked in the street. We're not doing by-the-hour traffic. And the people are coming in and shopping in the shops and eating in the restaurants. And it's been really quite a boon to some of the places in our village. Were you raising your hand?
No.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm what you call the trailer. I'd like to extend a few thank yous tonight to several people who have helped us make this possible. First of all, to Barbara for sharing her expertise and her knowledge and her time with us. Thank you again, Barbara.
I might add that if there is anybody who is all ready to go and would like to open their bed and breakfast and join our service, I would be available to go look at your house tomorrow. But you have to let me know tonight.
The other few people that I'd like to mention is, first of all, Janice Brown, who is representing the Human Resources Committee, who helped us support this project, and the Port Jervis Chamber of Commerce. I'd also like to extend my thanks to Public Access Channel and their loyal crew for helping us set up tonight. So everybody can hear. Another group of people that I'd like to extend thank yous to are the department heads who came at some time tonight. First of all, I see Sally Martinez from CDA here, Peter Osborne from the Precinct Historical Society and from the Planning Board. Bill Onifrey was here. Leo Fleming was also present. Thank you to those people for coming. Also to the media, the press, for helping publicize Bed and Breakfast and for publicizing tonight's program. And lastly, to the public who either came to City Hall or who are watching over television, I hope that you are successful in your endeavors if you are interested in starting Bed and Breakfast, and we anticipate seeing Bed and Breakfast popping up all throughout the area soon. Thank you and good night.
Would you like done with this?
We hope you have enjoyed tonight's presentation. If you would like more information on how to start your own bed and breakfast, you can contact Pat Ione at City Hall, 20 Hammond Street, Port Jervis, New York, 12771. Thank you for watching.